it's just something that I can't not do. It's just, it's the creative process, I guess. It's just a way of expressing that's not verbal, it's visual, it's important. So with my frottages, which are rubbings of relief plates that I've carved, it's a printmaking process because you're transferring an image, you're transferring something to a surface. And so I don't like to do editions, I like to do a series. So if I have a fish or a koi and I want to take a rubbing of it, I don't start with a sketch. I just start with my piece of paper, take a rubbing, look at that, and then say, well, I want another one of these, because repetition is a big part of my work. So I'm consciously thinking about the space between the 2 fish, or the 4 fish, or the 6 fish, or whatever. As I'm doing this, I'm also thinking in haiku, and how the haiku that I might be creating affects the images as they develop. And so I'll toggle back and forth between the 2, and they influence each other. And then that haiku generally becomes the title, and I'll pick up a different relief and add it to it, and they're generally just rubbings with a graphite stick on a transparent piece of paper. Well, most of the time pleasure, but not always. I want them to think about how they relate to the particular images that are there. Each of the images have an emotional response for me. Usually often they represent a person, sometimes a deceased person. And the relationship between the rubbings sets up a conversation in the piece, and maybe they understand my conversation, maybe they don't, and that doesn't matter. Well, I think what I would say is that haiku has influenced my work for quite some time. I was a teacher, I was teaching calligraphy to students, and that was my first introduction to haiku. And so I wrote one as an example for them, enjoyed that process, and I probably have 250 and growing. And so they became part of the installation, they became part of the hallway installation, and as I mentioned, titles of my work.